And we're back. So in this episode, we're going to play about with the automatic gearbox and see if we can get around this part throttle sort of on boost lean condition that I've got going on. At the moment, it's a stock fuel system, so it's got a regulator in the tank, it's a deadhead system, it's obviously not boost referenced. So what I can do in top gear with the converter locked is if I roll into it, I can build 3 or 4 pounds of boost in the manifold, and because it's still in closed loop because of the throttle position, it's still trying to pull the AFRs back to 14 or 15. When we fit the boost referenced regulator with the return, what that will do is as you build boost in the manifold, that will then put the same amount of boost on the top of the fuel pressure regulator, which will then increase the fuel pressure at the same rate of 1:1. So 1 pound of boost equals 1 pound more fuel pressure. So as you roll into it, the acceleration enrichment will be at a higher pressure, so you should get more fuel as I'm rolling into it as the boost builds. And when we get to the point of open loop, because of the higher fuel pressure, it will then be adding more fuel, so we'll be richer in open loop, which means I can then turn the boost up to come back to the 12.5 AFR I want, because as we saw in the last episode, I can't quite get anything more than 6 pounds of boost safely with this current setup. So I think all my problems will be fixed or improved when I fit the correct boost reference fuel system. But until then, we're going to do this. So P is park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then across into third, then 2, and then low, which is basically first gear. So we also have a power and a snow button, so we're going to go show you what those do basically. But snow, which we're never going to use, basically makes the throttle less sensitive, so you only get like half the throttle response. So it just stops you sort of wheel spinning and generally having a hard time when there's bad traction. Doubt we'll ever use that because I'm not going to drive this thing in the snow. Shift lock, you press that and do a special combination to get it out of gear if you haven't got the key or something, to get it out of park into neutral. Obviously, because when it's in P, it locks the gearbox up, and yeah, it's just like having another handbrake on. So yeah, the power button, we're going to press that and see what that does. But yeah, anywho, let's shove you over here. So we were in drive, so 3, 2, and then low. So now we're basically in first gear. So now it can only use the first gear. Part throttle. Shift and it shifts. Shifts again. Shifts again. So basically, at part throttle, you can run it through the gears. So we're in drive now with the converter locked up, so we can shift down into third, and then you put it across, and it shifts up to fourth, and then locks the converter up. So really, it's not meant to be used as a manual gearbox. I've found a few things where it gets a bit of a pain in the arse. If you're driving around in town, in drive, it will try and shift up to fourth and then lock the converter at about 30 miles an hour. And then as you're trying to go up a hill, it basically just loses all power because it's in the wrong gear essentially. Then it sort of like has a bit of a converter shudder, unlocks the converter, and then switches down into third anyway, or fourth. So now we'll press the power button, and for all we know, it's now got 300 horsepower. It doesn't. All the power button does, from what I can work out, is that at part throttle, it basically makes the gearbox shift down earlier and hold the rev slightly longer before it changes up. So it puts it like into a sport mode, but it only really affects the shifts at part throttle. So roll into it now, and it shifts down pretty quick. So yeah, it definitely holds the gears longer before it locks up in the top, but again, useful for part throttle. What I have noticed as well is the power button, and basically if you take it off, we're now in like eco mode or normal gearbox setting. It makes no difference to full throttle shift. So if you floor it, it will always kick down and will always take it to red line before it shifts up. It's not like it's limiting the power when you ask for it on the throttle. All that does is make it more sensitive, just to part throttle. So what I'll do now is I'll shift down, and then we'll try some full throttle stuff. Second, full throttle, and as you can see there, I shifted into third straight away and the gearbox did not shift up. So if I've got full throttle on and then short shift from say second to third, it will hold the revs to red line anyway, no matter what I do with this. It will not shift up when I want to at full throttle. So shifting it up and down the box manually, it's not a Tiptronic or whatever other brand name it is. It doesn't have buttons or paddles, so it's not designed to do that. All those numbers and letters are for is to actually limit the number of gears it's using for basically for engine braking, like when you're going down a hill. So if you're going down a hill in D and then you push it across into third, it'll change down in a third and it'll essentially be engine braking you down the hill. That's kind of really what it's for. Okay, so the takeaways from this for me are, if I'm in town, keep it in 3 so it doesn't try and shift up at the wrong times and use the wrong gear at like 30 miles an hour. If I'm going to overtake, floor it so you get into the open loop thing quicker and it kicks down, so it's either basically flat out on the throttle or flat out on the brakes properly. Then the AFRs are good on boost. And to get around the biggest problem that I'm worried about, which is when I roll into it in sort of like a high gear with a converter locked, I end up with 2 or 3 pounds of boost in the manifold and perhaps 14 to 15 AFRs because it's still in closed loop and the Toyota ECU is still trying to pull it back to Stoich. So basically what I'm going to do is drop it across into third and then roll into the throttle, because it does 2 or 3 things. It moves the boost threshold higher up to about 3000 RPM because it's in a lower gear. It's not basically brake boosting it as much. You get extra fuel from acceleration enrichment as you roll into the throttle. It adds more fuel, and it also gets you a lot closer to the open loop section of the throttle pedal, sort of TPS calculations, more quickly. So it doesn't spend much, if any, time at a dodgy AFR. And when it comes to gear changing at full throttle, basically, like I said in the last video, mine either hits the rev limiter or overspeeds because it's not used to the extra power or torque that's going through it. So I've tried shifting it up, I've tried playing about with the sport button. That doesn't really do anything when I'm driving my one. My gearbox is an A45 DE, which is like that's what the VIN plate says, so that might be what was fitted to the early ones, whereas the 47 DE is a later one. But either way, the first to second shift is not good. So what I do now is, as it's approaching about 6000 RPM, I lift off the throttle by a couple of inches, let the gearbox do the change. You can see the revs drop, then roll into it quickly, and it doesn't change back down, and it just does a nice reasonable shift without any weird flaring or slurring. And I'm doing that now in the second to third shift as well. Yeah, it's not as quick as it could be on the change, but it is hopefully going to save my gearbox from just basically melting. So yeah, all good fun. So there you go. That's how I'm going to drive this thing until I get the proper fuel system in it. Like I said, this isn't the fault of the fuel cut Defender. It's doing all it can. The Toyota ECU is doing its job by essentially pulling the AFRs down to Stoich when it's in closed loop. I'm a bit surprised that I can get it have it in closed loop and build boost. Obviously the standard Toyota map sensor can read 3 or 4 pounds of boost, but it's deciding not to add fuel there. Maybe it's pulling timing away once it sees the boost to help save it, which is why I'm not getting any knock or any evidence of that sort of stuff on the spark plugs themselves. Anywho, boys and girls, you let me know your experiences down in the comments. If you've got an auto or a manual or whatever, chuck that down there as well. What I would say is there's a bit of a sort of like hate for autos at the moment. Again, it all stems from social media and people like having to have a soapbox to shout about nonsense on. So it just depends really. I mean, I love them both for different reasons, manual or auto, and I wouldn't want an auto for some vehicles and I wouldn't want a manual in other vehicles. They both have their place really, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, chuck something down in the comments. Be nice though. Again, no one likes a troll. So take care of yourself, boys and girls. Hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time.